Well, after 1:30, we have the Finance Committee members that will be present today, plus an additional 5 JPs and three elected officials. In today's meeting, we've got 2 sets of data that we need to be looking at. For one thing, this is our regular monthly Finance Committee meeting. This is the one that takes place the Monday before the regular meeting the following week on Tuesday. We try to set anything that needs to be done and look at the month's expenditures. We're looking through November the 30th. If you look at our percentages, November 30th would be like 92% of the year. So if you go through and look at the elected officials, they're all under budget. Every single one of them are under budget. That just, to me, as closely as we try to keep our budgets, that says that they're working really hard at maintaining their expenditures, watching their P's and Q's, and trying to help the county in every way that they can. I guess the county clerk would take the sucker if she were here for the day, because hers was all the way down at 78%. So that's really wonderful. If you look at county general as a whole, county general is at 82%. The county road fund is at 70%. The county landfill, now the county landfill, if you look at it, it's on page 56 of the regular monthly expenditures, not the new budgets that Kelly sent out, but the monthly expenditures that she sent out to us last week on Thursday or Friday. On the county landfill, it shows 105%, but that's very misleading at 105%, because we've taken $1.22 million and put in CDs. So it showed as an expenditure, it skewed the expenditure numbers to 105, when in actuality, we're at 67%. We've got $1.25 million put back in reserve CDs. And the reason I think Justice Burge worked with Ms. Meek in doing that is we have that $2.2 million contract that's going to be executed this next year in building the next new cell in the landfill, cell number 16. By the way, Justice Burge is out of town today. He did notify me over the weekend that he would be in a different board meeting in Little Rock. He will be back in town in the middle of the week if anybody needs to talk to him. So, what do we need to do as far as business for our regular monthly meeting coming up this next Tuesday? For one thing, I did want to remind Cindy, we've got that road ordinance, or resolution.
I've already sent it to Jeremy last week.
Okay. That really has,
Thank you.
that really has nothing to do with this committee, except that this is the last meeting before the regular monthly meeting. And the Road and Bridge Committee last month actually recommended a name change in the section of highway that goes from Highway 61 to the river south of Osceola, going past Big River Steel. And it hadn't been Dickey Kennemore Parkway or Highway or something. And the South End constituents asked if we could also include John Carini in that. And so they asked for a name change to the Carini Kennemore Parkway. And the Road and Bridge Committee recommended it to go to full court, and we simply forgot, and it didn't get it added to last month, but it wasn't business pressing, so we just decided we'd pass it on and make sure we try to get it in this month. Sorry that it's in finance, but that's the way we just got to get the business done. Appropriation ordinances. Kelly, do we need to make anything that you're aware of? Add any money, give anybody money before? We do have the Christmas bonus.
Oh yeah, that will be done.
Remember last week, the Finance Committee exercised the option to give all the employees, full-time employees, $600 Christmas bonuses, and part-time employees, $300 Christmas bonuses. I would like to say, I don't like and don't participate very much in social media, but I think it got a little bit misconstrued in some social media that the Quorum Court was participating in those bonuses, and I'd like to point out, we as justices of the peace do not qualify and never participate in any kind of bonuses. or even in the normal raise procedure system. We are regulated by state laws as to how much we can maximum out over the year. Kelly, do we max out at 24 or 30 meetings on our per diems?
Well, currently it's $309, so however many you can get before the 8734.
It's usually around 24 meetings or so. 8,700 divided by 309. 28 meetings. So we max out after 28 meetings. Doesn't matter how many meetings you make. I think most of us make probably more in the range of 40 plus. I did count, I was just curious the other day, today is number 55 for me, personally. So we do not participate in the bonuses or the raises, strictly regulated by the state. But we will have the appropriation ordinance for the Christmas bonuses for the employees. Has anything changed as far as the timing on when that check can go out or anything?
Nothing I know of.
Somebody, was that you that wanted to talk about that just a little bit?
Well,
It's fine.
a little, I mean, just a little bit. I don't know how everybody would think about it. I mean, if we delayed the payroll for 2 days, I mean, it would delay overall, but it would get everybody their paycheck plus Christmas bonus. It would just be, instead of coming out on, what day, Wednesday?
Tuesdays are normal.
Tuesday, could be on a Thursday instead. I don't know how anybody would feel about that. But it would also kind of correct the other problem.
If we did it on an every week basis?
Yeah, if we, again, in discussion about something else, it came to my attention that right now county employees actually turn in time on a Wednesday, but they turn in time for the next Thursday and Friday. So they're actually turning in time for that has not been worked. That seems like it could potentially create, just need for extra work. I mean, with 200 employees, I would think that every single time you met, or every day, you have one or two that's sick, or a kid gets sick, or something comes up. So I think with every payroll, you would have time that you're having to go back and deduct and amend, and it just seems like maybe a duplicate there. Anyway,
Payroll changes. Time card changes.
You got the elected official and supervisors have to double check that they're making, that they're doing those payroll changes. They have to sign off on them. That creates some additional work for the payroll clerk. Anyway, just seems like something that could potentially be addressed.
Kelly, you understand what she's asking about? And I think she's more asking than anything. What's the possibilities, ramifications, cost? What do you think?
Well, we did that in late 2017, I guess. We moved it from a Friday to the Tuesday.
Because of the auditors.
Because the auditors, but at that point, when we were paying on Friday, we were actually prepaying because they were getting their checks before they worked on Friday, and then shift workers were getting their check before they worked Friday and Saturday. So we had to move the pay date. At that time, Judge Brassfield was in office, and she was given the option to go ahead and implement a week holdback, and she just didn't want to do that and asked the employees to wait a whole week without getting paid. So we did it at bonus time in 2017, and what we did was we gave out the Christmas bonuses that were approved that year on the Friday that they would normally get paid, and then we did their regular pay that following Tuesday. And then from that point on, it's been every other Tuesday since then. So I think—
Why did we pick Tuesday?
Because we were just trying to go far enough away from Friday that would allow us to come in on Monday and correct anything that absolutely had to be corrected, such as someone who terminated. That way we could, update payroll before it had to be sent to the bank. If we get paid on Tuesday, payroll has to be finalized by about 10 o'clock Monday morning. And that way we can update the ACH file to the bank. And so that gave us about an hour to come in on Monday and see if anyone notified us of any changes that just had to be entered. That's why we picked Tuesday. But the auditors were really, you know, they gave us the option, but I think they wanted to do a holdback, but she didn't decide to do that, so. Anyway, it's worked, fine, but like you say, there's still a period of time that people are having to submit timesheets before they work.
What's the difficulty in doing it on a Thursday instead of a Tuesday, if you moved it 2 more days?
It's not difficult at all because we're still gonna do the same process. It's just notifying everybody and getting, you know, all the employees notified and being okay with it.
Well, how many people are automatic withdrawal folks that would?
Like direct deposit?
Yeah, well, where they have bills paid automatically pulled out of their,
Yeah, we had to notify people in
Justice
enough
Warren,
time last time so they
The
could.
problem that I have with what Molly is talking about is that people that take this money on Thursday or Friday, buy groceries, pay bills, they have never had to wait until Tuesday to get it. If we're going to do something like you're talking about, I'd rather forewarn them for at least a month or two like next year. But I don't think that we ought to jump in there and do that now at Christmas this year.
yeah.
Well, no, wait, but no, it wouldn't be like what you're talking about. It would only simply go from Tuesday to Thursday. It would not.
That's 2 days.
I understand, but it's not over a weekend or anything like that. I mean, I'm not suggesting we do it right now. I was just simply saying it would, if we did do it right now, it would be a way for the employees to get their bonus before Christmas. But I'm not, no, if everything were perfect, I would certainly suggest that we give people at least, probably like a month notice to be able to plan for it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
get ready for it. But I do think it is something that needs to be done. I don't know that it's a good policy to turn in time that you haven't actually worked. I don't,
Maybe that's something we need to work on.
so.
Only thing she was trying to do is get the employees their bonus a little bit quicker. It doesn't really look like it's gonna be an easily done thing.
I'd
this-
rather
at
be
this
hung
point.
out there and give it to them early and just pray that the auditors don't touch it.
Ask for forgiveness instead
Are
of
they getting their
permission.
bonus after Christmas? Is that?
Yeah, they're not getting it till what, the 31st?
I wouldn't be happy.
Well, we weren't given one at all until that.
Well, I mean, I understand that. I sure wouldn't have been happy with that, but what I'm saying is, they're getting one, but it's gonna be
What about them?
so late that they're gonna have trouble shopping, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because some of them don't even have credit cards.
And one of the things I recommended, I'm not a part of this committee, y'all can make this decision, but my suggestion was go ahead and pay them Tuesday, normal payday. Go ahead and switch your payday to Friday and turn around and have them issue those bonuses on Friday. And then 2 weeks later on Friday, they would get their next paycheck. That way it pads that moving it 3 days. Or 2, even if you did it on Thursday, moving it 2 days. They'd get their bonus, 2 weeks later, they'd get their regular paycheck. And I understand that some people have to move things around, because, believe me, I would. Well, most days I would. But, yeah, it's one of those things that I agree you need to fix it, because it's just creating more paperwork for the elected official, the supervisor, and payroll department. If 5 people have to go in and change their time card because they got sick on Thursday night and were supposed to work Friday or Saturday, it's causing problems. And it's a problem we shouldn't have to go in and fix after the fact.
Kelly, any thoughts?
I mean, I agree. It's, you know, it's a really good potential to cause a lot more work, and then that leaves room for error. And I mean, I agree that it's an issue. I guess it's just, for so many years, we haven't had a holdback. It's really hard to just implement one, you know. But, you know, we have already moved it from Friday to Tuesday. If we did do another move, it's not, it's not so drastic.
Not a whole week drastic.
Right, yeah, so, I mean, you know, so if we do it, it's just kind of a gradual move that, I mean, everybody did well with it last time, but we did do the bonus in between, so that was helpful.
What you're saying is.
Elected officials, we got 4 of you back there. I thought we had 3, we've got 4. Harley, you've got a number of employees in your office. Thoughts?
Well, they'd like to have it before Christmas, you know.
But what if we have to hold or pay for a couple days?
I don't like that either, so.
And I understand both
Me
positions.
too.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
giving it, just
I
as
would just
Ashley has
rather
a pretty.
pad
A lot of them
So-
live paycheck to paycheck, I'm sorry to say.
And 2 days can make a big difference.
Sure, sure.
It looks like we probably ought to just leave it for right now, guys, and not rock the boat and then try to make a move and change. Because we.
I think they're happy they're even getting one, so. I
Yes,
think it'll help them over with New Year's anyway.
Susan's trying to get your
Yeah.
attention.
Susan,
Well, if you were gonna give them the bonus and then move payday till Friday, if you're gonna give them the bonus on Tuesday, move payday till Thursday or Friday, that would work, I would think. But,
Well, right now, it's too late to stop the payday for Tuesday because we've got to have our regular meeting to shift.
yes, you're right,
But
The bonuses wouldn't come till Thursday either.
right.
And then have them get their bonus, say, on Thursday, then their next paycheck would be on a Thursday,
I see.
2 weeks later.
That sounds like an after the first of the year thing to me. I don't know.
But that's not gonna put them in a bind for Christmas, the way he's talking.
You know, so your next payday would be, I have to think, it would be actually after New Year's.
I think it's
That
on the
next one would be.
31st, is that right?
It would be, the normal one's the 31st, so it would make it the 3rd.
Second.
We're getting worse and worse
Yeah.
each day.
we're getting further away.
Well,
Let's-
on a Thursday,
What do you
yes.
think? If we just leave it like it is,
Well,
we pay them the
yeah.
31st and then take this up after the first of the year and see if we can't get a little bit better
I
maybe?
agree.
Okay, so do regular
We'll let
payroll on the
volunteer do it.
31st, and then when did you want to do bonus?
The 31st.
The 31st,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think we really need to stay out of legal issues.
I'm not on the committee, but
Yes, ma'am.
I think you need to leave it as is, and if you're gonna change it, do it next year.
I'm on your boat.
Because you would be surprised what 2 days, will do, 1 day.
Yes.
If mine,
I know how it is to live paycheck to paycheck, so
well,
I
I
agree.
do too.
If you're gonna do it, we need to give them notice. Like
I agree.
y'all said,
Yeah.
No, I
A
think,
month or so notice.
I think
to
a month at
a month
least.
to do it.
I mean, just because you have to, especially if you have things that automatically pay, especially around the 1st. I mean, and I would even suggest not doing it on a payroll that falls close to the 1st of the month, something that falls in the middle. I mean, that would be the ideal thing to do.
So are we in agreement, we're gonna leave it as is
Yeah,
till after the first of the year? Okay, elected officials, do any of y'all have any business that needs to be addressed as a resolution or ordinance for the regular, Quorum Court meeting next week? Anything that we've not already talked about? Kelly, do you know of any other business? Cindy?
No, sir.
So we'll have the appropriation ordinance, for the bonuses, and then resolution for the, and then any other old business that we want to attend to. Anybody else? If not, I'm going to move on to the 2020 budget. We're trying to finish that up and have it completed. For G. Willikers and Wiz, I don't know how many of y'all read the Jonesboro Sun, but in yesterday's Jonesboro Sun, Craighead County is also trying to finish up their budget this week. So we're not the only one that's trying to wrap up our budgets. In fact, the Craighead County judge made the remark that if they don't get it done in this week's meeting, there would be more meetings before the end of the year. So we're all working pretty hard on these budgets. Kelly sent out, emailed some refresher deals on some of the other revenues. You know, we looked at county general last week, last Thursday. Kelly sent us out the county road fund, the solid waste fund, senior citizens, and the county jail. In the county waste fund, she gave us the revenues and expenditures. I wish Justice Burge had been able to make it. I tell you, he's worked really close with the county judge and with the people out at the landfill, and they have done an excellent job of maintaining their budget. If you remember, last week, Justice Burge said they take in about $300,000 a month, and they expend about $200,000 a month. So the extra money is exactly what we put back in the CDs, and it's not for a rainy day. It's because we know there's a day coming, just like the $2 million contract for Cell 16 construction, and the landfill does a good job of just maintaining itself. It's never been a real income generator, but if it can just not be an income drainer, then we're in pretty good shape. Anybody got any questions about the county solid waste fund budget for 2020? Or Kelly, do you have any remarks or points to make with it?
Well, you know, it's coming in with revenues less than expenditures, and Justice Burge, I've talked to him about it. He's aware of it. We're gonna revisit when he gets back tomorrow. So, I mean, that was just the main thing to point out. We looked at it together last week too, and he wanted to change the cell construction expenditure to $2,250,000, and originally it was $2,500,000. But he said that the bid came in a little bit under 2.2, so he wanted to go ahead and change that. That helped. And then I did reduce the insurance to reflect the 5.7% from the 22%, so that helped some. But it's still $218,443 short. So we're gonna work together on
Getting it back
that
in
tomorrow.
more
Yeah.
balanced. Okay, you just made a good point, and Justice Nelson is the chairman of our insurance committee. When we had the insurance committee meeting last week, and I'm fixing to turn it over to Justice Nelson for just a second, we met with Stevens, that committee met with Stevens, and most of the JPs were here. They had a much better offer than our insurance company from this year, LS, and at that time, the Quorum Court chose, or that committee chose to recommend an option 2 that Stevens offered, which would be with Qual Choice, and it had a $1,500 deductible, annual deductible, and a $4,500 out-of-pocket max. We wanted to at least explore what the cost could be to go down to a $1,000 deductible and maybe even all the way down to a $500 deductible. Justice Nelson asked Stevens if they could prepare those, and I think between him and Kelly, they worked with Stevens to get those numbers together. Those numbers just came in this morning. And in view of the fact that Stevens is coming to the county,
This afternoon.
yeah, today, they're leaving today and will be here and start working with us tomorrow to offer the employees these options. I will say that Justice Nelson showed these numbers to me. I in turn turned around and sent them to the rest of the insurance committee that was available. I also did include the press. I don't want anybody getting the idea that we're not including the press on this. But we sent them a copy of these options. Everybody has these, I think, where they can see them. And the question that Justice Nelson posed to the rest of his committee members was, would they consider option 3? The option 3 is taking the deductible from $1,500 to $1,000, total out of pocket from $4,500 to $3,000. The drug co-pays, if you look at that, the very first one, the $15 generic, goes down to $10. But then the other categories, if you're going to use brand name type stuff, it actually went up just a little bit. From 35 to 40, from 50 to 60, and the 100 stayed the same. The inpatient hospital copay, third line item from the top, They added $200. It's $200 plus the deductible and co-insurance up there.
Which wasn't previously on the
Exactly.
one that we chose, so $200 has been added.
So the option 2 that the insurance committee recommended last week came in with a total increase of around $105,000, and using 200 as an employee number, and that's a rough number because it's not exactly 200. But at 200 employees, option 2 that they recommended last week would be 105,000. If we went to option 3, it is a better deal. It's a much better deal for the employees, and it would come in at a cost to the county of right at 200,000, using 200 as a number. The option 4, if you'll look, it goes on up to an 18.9% increase. We're right back up to that $400,000 increase that the previous insurance company was offering. And, you know, at that time, we didn't think we could afford it then. So I think that's why Justice Nelson was steering towards option 3. And I will share that the other committee members did respond to him, and they all agreed that they'd like to see option 3. So I've kind of given you the gist of it. I'm going to let Justice Nelson, if you want to add or ask or...
Well, I think you've covered it very well. We've got Justice Jackson is here.
Justice Clay's here.
And Justice Clay is on the committee. If y'all have any comment to make, or any other justice, or the elected officials about, say so, because we're about to change it.
I'm not on the committee, I'm raising my hand. Out of what you're looking at right now, which one of these plans most compares to the plan we have now?
The deductible was already, what was it last year?
2,500.
2,500.
That was the max out of pocket.
But
Oh, Max,
last year they offered the employee an option to buy the
They
deductible
can buy
down.
up or buy down, whatever.
By now, yeah.
Yeah, so technically, we're not offering that to them. We're looking at just absorbing it all.
No comments?
Sheriff,
No
have you
yays or
talked-
nays or no?
Well, you've got more employees than anybody sitting at that table over there, and so it's going to affect more people with your office than anybody. Do you consider option 2 or option 3 the better deal for your employees?
These numbers here is option 3, is that correct? What you're
You-
saying, reducing annual costs and co-pays and so forth, that's option 3.
Yes, sir, it's that third column there.
Additional $103,000 a year.
Yes, sir.
I
Yeah.
think he's looking at the same thing.
Uh,
This page, Sheriff, is this the one you're looking at?
I was looking this up when I'm looking
Okay.
at it now.
Yeah, the handwritten sheet's just a summary.
Anytime you can reduce co-pays, deductibles, that's a good thing for the employees. And you must remember too, our employees are not the highest paid employees in the
Exactly.
state or the county. So, a lot of them may live paycheck to paycheck. But you guys are and ladies are the finance committee that look at the numbers, the total numbers for the whole county budget. I'm gonna throw it back in your corner. Y'all have to make the decision on how much money you can spend. I don't know, I don't have those total figures. But if you're asking which one's best for the employees, it looks like option 3 is gonna be the best for the employees.
Betty, Justice Helper had a question.
No, I didn't.
Susan had a question.
On option 3, the plus 200, I'm not quite understanding that because I'm not an insurance
That's
person.
inpatient deductible.
Okay,
Inpatient copay.
inpatient.
If you get it.
Is that per day or per visit?
So we don't have an inpatient copay on option 2?
Just your deductible.
Yes,
Just your standard.
it will be new. We do not have it. But you've got some other things that we don't have on option 2.
Now, I don't know if y'all were all present, but I asked this question under option 2. Your when you start looking at that total 4,500 out of pocket, I would assume it would apply to the 3,000 also. All of your network co-pays your co-pays for your medicine, and probably that deductible all count towards that 300 maximum out of pocket. So it helps to, if you understand that, because you're not gonna have to come up with an additional 3,000 over and above what you're paying when you walk in the doctor to see a doctor, or when you go to the pharmacy and pick up medicine. Should be when you hit 3,000, they cover 100% at that point. Or if you carry family coverage, you get a maximum of 6,000.
We feel like we can cover the option 3, the increased cost to option 3. We were gonna pay 105 anyway. It's gonna cost us about another 103 over on top of that. So, we feel like we try to do all we can for our employees and still keep the county financially sound. We try to give the best salaries that we can give, we try to give the best benefits that we can give, and still keep the county financially sound. And we think that this is, option 3 is an option we can offer. It isn't an additional expense to the county, but we feel like we can do this for them, if that's okay with you guys, as elected officials.
Can I ask a question? What is the meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock?
Kelly? That's, Stevens is coming.
To sign up.
Sign up, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. And that's for all the employees?
Well, yeah, they're gonna do, just like we did last year, they're gonna do meetings all day tomorrow and all day Wednesday at different locations. That way, everybody can come and sit down and listen to how our benefits are gonna change, and what we're gonna have, the plan that we're going to have, and then allow them to sign up for the new insurance and make any changes that need to be changed. One thing I do want to point out on, if we go from option 2 to option 3, it does increase the amount that the employees have to pay for family coverage if they have it. It's not a real significant amount, maybe about $125 to $150 a year. But you know, they'll make that up in the deductible part, so.
Kelly, did you send, somebody I thought sent us an email showing the schedule?
Yes, Beverly sent that out.
Cindy did.
I don't have it with me.
I didn't bring it, but Cindy sent it.
It's 11:30 at the courthouse in Osceola and 1, I think, or 1:30.
Okay, dates for
Is that
insurance meetings.
also our Southern time also?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can come to any of them that you want.
Tuesday, tomorrow morning at 6:30, the sheriff jail. At 7:30, the sheriff jail. Tomorrow at 11, the Osceola courthouse. And again at the Osceola courthouse at 1. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. will be the Blyville courthouse, which I'm assuming would take place at Burdett. They will start all over again on Wednesday. At 7 a.m. Wednesday, the road department and landfill will have their meeting. At 9:30, Wednesday, Blyville courthouse, juvenile, 911, and the veterans. At 11 a.m., again, the Blyville courthouse, juvenile, 911, and veterans. Wednesday at 1 p.m., Blyville senior citizens. Then tomorrow, Wednesday evening, and the sheriff has so many because of their rotating schedules. Wednesday evening, 5:30 p.m., the sheriff jail, and again at 7 p.m., the sheriff jail. So that schedule is available through the judge's office. Contact Cindy if you have questions, or you didn't get that, or you didn't get the email. So.
And even if you don't have the insurance, we have to get you to sign off and waive it. And, you know.
So everybody, even the JPs need to.
Yes. And, last year I helped get some people forms, and I can still do that, but just, you have to sign it and waive it or accept it.
So they're not being offered options, all they're doing is signing up. That's,
Yes, everybody
Okay.
just has to sign up and then make any changes as far as like family coverage that you want to make. And it goes for medical, dental, vision, and life.
And the dental and vision didn't change, we're staying with
The
the same.
company didn't change, right? But you still have to
Sign up.
notify us, yeah.
Now, you're saying if you do not have, you still have to sign it, right? You still have to send it. you
Fill
do
out
not
a
want
sign
it.
sheet saying you do not need it.
Well, I need that schedule.
I can get you a form, Ms. Henson, I
You
can,
can put
you
your
don't,
boyfriend on it.
Now, you know I'm that widow now. I told y'all I can do is wink, I can't do nothing else. Cut my benefits. And I need my benefits.
Oh.
I know how to get that schedule.
I was talking. Are y'all, we're going to go with option 3. The insurance committee is sitting here unless y'all have any opposition to it. If you've got opposition, please raise your hand, any at all. You do have.
The only opposition I have is we're chopping insurance and we're doing it right here at the end of the year. Have the other people been contacted about this? And what was their reply?
Wouldn't even quote us.
Okay, I'm happy now. I'm just,
And some reviews.
well, that's why I say, you know, if you become known as, and you have loyal customers, anybody that does business has loyal customers. And if they up and one day go somewhere else and you wonder, well, what in the heck happened? And you're invited back and you can meet the price because it's out there. You see what the other people done. And this just comes from a business standpoint, not looking at the Quorum Court, just a business standpoint of down the road, are we gonna be looking at, nobody wants to come talk to us because they know we're gonna shop their insurance rate. That's my only opposition to it. I'm not opposed to the plan. But
So do we have a motion from the insurance committee as a recommendation?
Oh, yeah, I'm the entry, yes. Yes, I make a motion that we go with option 3, with Qual Choice that would have the deductible at $1,000.
I second option 3.
We have a recommendation coming from the insurance committee that we move our insurance choice through Stevens and Qual Choice to option 3. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Okay, guys, that's what we're gonna do then. I would like to read a letter that the judge sent to me just well, here at the meeting.
What did we, say about that, no option at all? You say,
Justice Clay, I think some of the companies were not willing to quote us because of our loss ratio. We had 2 or 3 catastrophic losses during the year of 2019, and it skewed our numbers.
They're still on the payroll. They're still working for us.
So some companies chose not to give us a quote for rates. They didn't want to sell us insurance because we still have those individuals in our law school. So the insurance committee is searched every option possible. We were looking at a $440,000 increase with the company that we're currently with. Stevens came in with a much better offer. In fact, they gave us 4 choices, and it looked like option 3 is going to be our best.
And you remember, 22% wasn't set in stone, that was with stipulation.
Oh, that was the best case with the current company. Guys, Judge Nelson sent me a letter from the mayor of Osceola. I just got it a few minutes ago. Subject, 1/2 of the district clerk's insurance. Judge Nelson, and I'll read this verbatim. Judge Nelson, we discussed the district court operational expenses and the clerk salaries and health insurance premiums. I have attached a November 5th, 2019 invoice for 1/2 of the salaries and insurance that was sent to Ms. Kelly. The invoice shows that 1/2 of the insurance is not being reimbursed since at least 2016. As you are familiar, the Arkansas statute breaks down the district court costs between 2 categories: operational expenses and salaries. The county has been reimbursing the city for 1/2 of the salaries, FICA, Medicare, and pension benefits, but not the insurance benefits. And since we view the unpaid clerk's insurance premiums as falling into the category of salaries, we include the salary premiums for 1/2 the reimbursement on the invoices. I have also attached a quote from SkyCop for several street security cameras and license plate readers. One of the cameras would be placed on the traffic light near the courthouse, and another one between the courthouse and the levee. It is hoped that the county will reimburse the city $22,716 for one half of the insurance premiums from 2016 to now, and the plan is to apply this $22,716 towards the $29,503 Skycop camera purchase. Please let me know your thoughts. Sincerely, Sally L. Wilson, Mayor, Osceola, Arkansas. And included in that, she does include the invoice that she sent to the county, showing the insurance premiums that we have not paid, and from 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. And in that letter, invoice, it was sent to Kelly Jones, Miss Jones. Reimbursement request for salaries and benefits paid by the city of Osceola to court employees is detailed below. And it shows the salaries at $81,066.23. This is strictly for 2019 in the first 3 quarters. FICA at $4,924.91. Medicare at $1,151.67. Pension at $4,745.97 for a total of $91,888.78. At one half would be the county's share of $45,944.39. The charges that we have not reimbursed are the insurance premiums of 2016. Our share at one half would have been $8,559.41. 2017, the county share would have been $5,478.04. 2018, the county share would have been $4,486.32. For the first quarter of this year, our share would have been $1,392.03. The second quarter, our share $1,409.15. In the third quarter for 2019, our share showing at $1,392.03. So the total charges not reimbursed have been $22,716.98. Thank you, and let me know if you need any additional information. Sincerely, Melissa Brothers, CPA, Finance Director of the City of Osceola. And then she is also, the mayor has also included an invoice for the Skycop, and it's here and available for anybody that would care to see it. The total cost for those Skycops would be $29,503.86. Now, this has been an ongoing discussion between the city of Osceola and the county. We try to pay the exact same district court expenses for both the city of Blytheville and the city of Osceola, and it is fairly well dictated, spelled out in state statutes exactly what the county is responsible for. And truly in that, all these years, we have not found that we were responsible for insurance for those employees' salaries. Osceola has always maintained that insurance is part of their salaries, and the county has disputed that. And as said, for 2016, since 2016, we've not done that for either city. If we do it for one, we'll need to do it for the other. Sheriff?
Does that memorandum say how many employees you're talking about?
No, sir. I read all that verbatim and didn't leave anything out. So no, sir, it doesn't state how many.
One of those people that does not have does not have health insurance down there at all, and hasn't for some time. But I don't know how many folks that reflects.
It doesn't say anything about, it's not a very detailed, per employee type deal. It's just simply totals.
So just to be clear, we do not pay a half for Blytheville at current.
No.
Kelly, we don't do it. That
We
was what
don't
we.
even pay retirement on top of it, but Osceola bills us for insurance and retirement.
Do we pay it?
We never have. Oh, we haven't been.
Well, we have paid the retirement before, yes. But we stopped, during a budget process. It was determined that we would do the same for both cities, and so that's what we do.
And we went to the Arkansas Association of Counties to get guidance on what we had to pay according to state law.
Yeah, that was my next question.
We went to the Arkansas Association of Counties for guidance.
Okay, so are you thinking is our obligation here amongst all this stuff that you've read?
From a legal standpoint, the county is meeting our obligations. According to the Arkansas Association of Counties, we are not subject to paying for half of their insurance. Is that correct or not correct? You know, I've made the statement lately, sometimes it may not be illegal, but is it right? And in this case, would it be right for us to pay half their insurance? And if we do, then we need to pay half of Blythel's also.
I would agree with that.
I just want to be equal to what we do. We need to treat everybody the same.
And are there other cities or
Just Blythe, it's district court.
just district? Okay.
You have Judge Betterton at the moment down in Osceola, and up here you have Judge Shannon Langston, and it's their clerks, their secretaries that we're paying the salaries for. We are legally obligated for some district court expenses, and we've tried to be right down the line as to what we had to pay so that we'd pay it the same for both. I'm not saying we don't need to pay it or we do. I'm just saying we need to do the same for both.
Well, I don't think we ought to go back to 2016 anyway, so we're not going to have to consider that, are we?
Oh, we are considering, I mean, in her, I think it's only respectful that we talk about it and consider it, and we don't have to do it.
And apparently, I mean, in my opinion, she would like some money for the Sky Cops.
That ain't
Yes.
going to happen.
So, I'm just simply saying, I mean, it looks like she would like to help.
If she wanted money for the Sky Cop, why didn't she ask us before she bought them?
Good.
Well, I don't know that
question.
she has yet. That's
She
simply
says
a quote.
installation and all that stuff.
Well, that's just quotes though. It's not an invoice, that's a quote. And if the quote's dated,
I don't think you should. I think that's just opening up a whole.
Bible didn't ask us.
Start saying Blythe, aren't they putting them in now?
Sky Cops?
Yeah, but they didn't.
I think
We're not participating. I'd like to see that if it's true.
No, we're not participating in those.
I
put the
just,
Sky Cop up there,
she said, I don't,
Right in your place.
I don't think we should do that right now.
because
I
that's
think we
county.
should.
No.
Okay. All right, then we have discussed it, we have looked at it, we still.
Well, and you're right, and if we started looking at paying for Sky Cops, and we'd be looking at paying for Sky Cops at
Every town in the
every town
county.
around.
Well, it comes down to the legalities and do we owe for the insurance?
Okay, she was talking about Sky Cop.
Yeah, no, I,
Okay. As long as we feel like we're filling our legal obligations based on the Arkansas Association of Counties determination, then
And you say we are.
that's what they told us in 2016. That's why we quit.
So we have considered, we have talked.
Yes, we have talked about it, and we have considered it, and right now, we're not gonna make any changes based on y'all's.
That's correct.
Okay.
And Blythe is quiet, they're not saying anything, right?
Blythe hadn't asked for it, no ma'am.
Okay, well, you need legals on it. Because if you do it for one, you're gonna have to do it for the other.
I agree with that.
So the question now is it legal or bad?
Well,
Right now, the Association of Counties, it says we do not have to pay it. So.
So that's legal?
That's legal.
That's your legal
And
people.
if they come back, if they wanna take it somewhere and
That's the
they
way
get
I
it changed, so be it.
I'm just like.
I believe that
I don't
district
think
court, wouldn't you
insurance
imagine?
is for yourself. I mean, I know that we
Been there
want
before.
that, but technically it's not.
No, we didn't have to serve.
Bible hasn't asked for anything.
Harley, sir?
Do we pay for the Sky Cops here in Blythe?
No, sir.
Why are we even looking at the ones in Osceola?
Well, it's really not, it's two separate issues. She was just saying if we would pay for their insurance, then they had a
Well, they
good
kinda
use
signed
for the
it like
money.
One,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're two different things, and she truly wasn't asking us to pay for the Sky Cops. She was just asking us to pay for the insurance,
Okay.
and then kindly justifying her request that they really had a need that they would use it for. It wasn't just for extra, plush money.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on, guys.
Thank you.
We've looked at the solid waste fund. Kelly's going to continue to work with Neil over the next day or two. This budget will be presented Tuesday, December the 17th. I promise you.
It will be what? It will be what?
Presented to the full court. And by the way, let me remind everybody, we really need you at the full court meeting Tuesday the 17th because this is an ordinance And we need enough votes to pass our budget. So please try to come Tuesday the 17th if you can at all. County Road Fund, Kelly, thoughts?
And if they don't come, are we gonna go get them?
Yeah, if you don't come, we're gonna send the sheriff after you.
Well, you better make sure you get a ride down there.
No, she's still serious.
No, I'm gonna put my Mercedes down, I'm gonna get a truck, I'm gonna get my truck and come get you. Yes, I'm gonna-
Justice Hepler, you'll be in the back of a pickup truck. I don't think you want that.
No, my truck can get him in there. But you can't get in my car. You call me if you need a ride.
Kelly, you wanna talk about the differences between the revenues and the expenditures in the county road fund?
The revenues, if we include the 90% of the fund balance plus 90% of our CD balance, budgeted revenues come in at $5,091,051. The budgeted expenditures come in at $3,519,642. So we have a surplus of $1.5 million in that fund.
Let me remind you, this is the one fund that the judge has total absolute expenditure control over. Now, just like any other fund, the county judge can't spend any money that we don't appropriate. But this money cannot be moved by the Quorum Court or anybody to another fund. It's strictly road department funds, and state law dictates that the county judge is the road department. So as long as the judge is good with his expenditure budget and his revenue budget, and we're 1.5 million to the surplus. Any questions from anybody?
Tilly did a good job.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that the judge has done on this, as far as the 2019 budget, he's used all his road and gravel budget, and I think that's to the county's benefit. It's been hard to get a judge that would spend enough money on gravel. Our roads are terrible, and the only way we can fix them is to keep buying gravel. So, Kelly, nice job on the budget. Know that the judge will put it to the best use. So, county jail operation and maintenance fund. This is a difficult budget, and the reason it's difficult is because there's never enough money. It's always short. No fault to anybody's, except maybe the prisoners incarcerated. The county general has always, as long as I've been on the court, had to supplement the revenues of the county jail to keep it operating. We are mandated by state law. We have to have a place to put the prisoners. So, you know, last year was an easy year on the county because the Blytheville jail fees came in that they had not paid us for several years. We had a $900,000 extra revenue advantage coming from the city of Blytheville last year, but we didn't have that this year. We won't have it next year. So our revenues are going to be short. We'll have to make it up out of county general. Kelly, you want to get that one a lick?
Sure. We budgeted $1.25 million to transfer from county general over to jail to supplement their revenue. We can only budget 90% of that, so it is in there as $1.125 million. But if you look at the projected revenues, which are at 90%, the $3,066,163, and then you add 90% of their fund balance as of November 30th, it brings their total revenue to $3,161,542. The expenditures are just a little bit more than that at $3,647,979. So it's a difference of $486,436.
That don't compute, Kelly.
Tell me again the difference.
$486,436.92.
Sorry?
What was the difference?
486.
486, 436.
Gotcha.
Shortfall.
short. Judge, where you gonna get that, Judge? Sheriff, where you gonna get that money?
I'm not sure what you're looking at, I don't have that document.
Your expenditure budget in the jail, it's $486,000 short of revenues.
Well, I sent that to the sheriff the same time I sent that to y'all, so he doesn't.
Oh, no, we're
hasn't
catching him
had a
off guard.
chance- Yeah,
I
he
agree.
hasn't had a chance to even look at it, so.
I agree.
Break my leave and I'll give you $100 for it. We start getting, chunking it out a little bit at a time, we'll get it.
We made, I know, a couple of little tweaks and twerks trying to get it more accurate. Like we went from 181,000 up to closer to $200,000 on the meals, simply because it's really what he's spending. We're trying to be as accurate as we possibly can on this. And I think probably what we need to do is give the sheriff a little bit of time to look over his expenditures. He has more say-so over expenditures than he does over the revenue projections. So if we can let the sheriff work on the expenditure side, maybe Kelly and I can work on the revenue side. If you look at the revenue side for just a minute, guys. If you've got one of those on the jail. Look at the local sales tax. 2017 was $1,576,000. 2018 was $1,656,000. This time we budgeted $1,600,000. It would be very easily and within our judgment, we could bump that, to say $1,650,000, which would put it back closer to the 2018 level, and that adds $140,000 against the 448.
That would shorten the shortfall.
Jail fees state, in 2019, we got $268,000 from the state. Well, that's what we've gotten so far. In 2018, we only got 212, but they raised the rates, but at the same time, Sheriff, you can correct me, are we not keeping less state prisoners on hand?
Yes.
So our state revenues really won't.
State revenue should have been down a little bit.
Down a little bit, okay. And that's where Kelly's got it, at $225,000. But that might be one that we could revisit just a little bit. One of the big ones that's hurt us is the jail fees, particularly on libel. We had budgeted $287,000 this year. We've only received right at $87,000 this year. Kelly prorated and put in $107,000. So right there's $180,000 difference in revenues from 2019 expectations to probably a more realistic 2020 expectation. And that's $180,000, that hurts.
And that's current, they're current with what they owe.
Yeah, Sheriff, isn't libel, the city's pretty well staying current with what they owe us, aren't they?
As far as I know right now.
Yeah, I think they've been staying pretty current. But there's half of the difference in the revenues. You've got to look at the biggies. We budgeted this year $1,582,000 as far as transfers from county jail, and that right now we're just requesting $1,125,000.
They can walk over now,
They can walk over.
from the jail to the Burdette.
Oh, yeah, they sure can. Your transport ought to be a lot easier, huh? Except maybe when it rains. If we picked up the $140,000 on the local sales tax by bumping that to 1.6, we may just have to take and balance it out with transfer from county general and increase our request from 1.25 to closer to 1.4. Kelly, let me look right here. if we had a $486,000, that's 140, we need another 346. So we'd have to add, well, if we just added 350 to it, it'd just about budget or balance us out.
Let's wait.
But we're gonna have it balanced to,
I thought she had it balanced.
no, she's just showing us what was brought to her.
Ah, gotcha.
Kelly, pencil in adding, going up on a local sales tax of 1.650. And then pencil in on transfer from county general, adding another 350, which would make us 1.475.
350.
Yeah, add 350 to it.
When I add those and update it, it's gonna take not, it's gonna take 10% off.
Better make that, gonna have to bump that count transfer from county
Well,
general.
in our current budget, 2019, we budgeted over 1.5
That's
million
right.
this year, so
Let's just carry it straight across.
just
And
what
that'll
we
fix
did
it.
last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll fix it. Do you guys understand what we just did? We bumped our local sales tax up to closer to what it is, and then we also we just carried straight across our transfer from county general funds. Sheriff, that'll fix it. I know there's not really much in expenditures that you haven't already cut.
Well, I mean, we've already went over in a previous meeting where we increased a couple. One is in foodstuffs, one is in jail uniforms.
Exactly.
And, I know there was a question popped up somewhere about foodstuffs.
Yes, sir.
I can't live on what we're feeding these guys. I mean, it's like $1 and change per meal, $4 for a day.
Okay, we'll take care of you.
Thank you.
Senior citizens, guys.
No, I didn't have to vote by myself. That's not much.
And this is the one that we have very little input on, other than what monies that we give them to supplement.
And she came and talked to us, and she talked about that she was some state funding was reducing. Did
I
that?
think that JTPA in Paragould is still running this, aren't they?
No, it's triple, like 4A. Arkansas Agency,
Arkansas Area
On-
Agency on Aging.
that's it. Yeah, I always get
Paragould.
tongue tangled. Is that Paragould? Yeah, that's whoever that is. Kelly, comments, thoughts?
I do have a few comments on senior citizens. The main one that I think will actually end up helping us is we're going to combine their three funds into just one. So right now, we're using 3401, 3402, and 3403. And they were spreading across their revenues and expenditures across those three funds. And so I think it will be easier to look at and keep track of when we
Just
change it.
have one?
Yes. So we're going to change that to 3401, and that's what we'll use next year. Their revenues that are projected at 90% come in at a little over 500,000, 504,378.90. They do have a small balance in 3401, 02, and 03. So when I take 90% of that and add it to it, their total revenues right now are 526,394.76. Their expenditures are coming in at $740,081. And that's a shortfall of $213,686.24. I've also included just a small little spreadsheet that I have put together to compare everything. And there are 3 or 4 categories that they have requested for 2020 that I really think they're high on. So we are going to have to make an adjustment to expenditures or revenues or both. And so I just wanted to point out, I have not gone over these with Amanda yet. That's kind of hard to discuss it when I didn't really know where insurance was gonna be, and that was a huge factor in it, so. But if you'll see if you're looking at that spreadsheet, on 2005, their food and supplies, that second column is the total year-to-date spent. We're only right at 85,000, but she's asking for 151,000. And then if you'll look over the very last two columns, that shows you what we spent in 17 and 18. So, you know, even if we were to go over what it looks like we may get to this year, you know, the most she has spent in the last couple of years is 118,000. So I thought that may be where one area we could lower. And then same thing on that very next line, the 2007, the fuel.
Mhm.
She's asking for 29,000. That looks a little high to me compared to the,
Actuals.
yes. Another one is 2023, repair, parts and auto. She's asking for 15,200. And,
Is that were those repairs coming out of were they coming out of a different fund? I mean, it looks like she really hasn't spent anything year to date.
well, that's year-to-date out of 3 funds. That's why I put it on
Oh,
one
okay,
sheet. That way
okay.
you can see all 3 added together. The 5549, that's what's been spent so far. And based on that, the projected is a little over 6,000. So 15.2 was a little, and you know, like in 2017, she did get almost to 12,000. And her concern is that her vehicles are so old that if she doesn't build a cushion in there, she's gonna go over it. That's, you know, she has several vehicles that are really, really old. And so that's why she did that. But, you know, if we do have to cut something, that may be an area. And then the other one is the very last line, the 3102, service contracts. She's requested 26,000.
Compared to,
And, right, year to
14,
date,
yeah.
yeah. And so, I mean, the most that, well, we budgeted 13,788 for 19, but she's only spent year to date 10,568. That projects out to 11,529. So,
you know, it'd be nice to be able to talk to her, but if we can't, we may just have to make those adjustments.
well, I was gonna talk to you and the committee about it. There are still several changes that need to be made, the biggest one being insurance. So I know that I do have to go back and still make some more changes and then adjust these few that we've talked about. If you wanna have another meeting, whether it be late this week or even Monday, I know, I feel the same way. But just in case we do need to, you know, if she wants to be here for any reason, I just wasn't able to really have time to contact her.
That's fine. It's been a
you know,
busy time.
Yeah, and not knowing really anything about the insurance until Friday, and today's Monday. So I just haven't asked her to be here. But, you know, once we discuss it, my plan is to go back and meet with her, probably by phone, and see what her thoughts are, and then I can always reach out to the committee, you know, if I need to, and.
I think so, because my memory may be not serving me correctly here, but for some reason I feel like she talked about the food and the reason why she had increased it. But
Well, you're right, I think she did. One of her concerns is that she feels like she's not gonna get enough money from
Something.
Jonesboro. That's one. Another is food costs are constantly going up, just like they are in the jail. So that's another concern. So, you know, there's reasons why she did it, why she asked for these increases. But to make budget, I just wanted to point out.
no,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just.
Well, right, because didn't she say she was losing like
There's
34,000?
something, she's losing money from somewhere.
Yeah, the last few years she's lost money from her income sources. So,
Still yet, as I remember, this is still a considerably less than what we were a few years ago, when we stayed in the red constantly.
Yeah, you know, we cut them to the bone.
Yeah. Does she have help with her budget, or did you help her with any of this, or?
Yeah, she meets with East Arkansas. They have a fiscal year July 1 through June 30th. So she had already worked on her budget early,
In
mid-year.
July. Okay.
And so that's where she received the information on the revenue that should be coming in. And then she brings that to us later in the year to see what we can do for our calendar year budget. And just based on what she was told, you know, the cuts in revenues and then what she knows about repair cost and food, you know, I think she made some, you know, good educated projections. It's just, it's not gonna balance, so.
Amanda and the senior citizens live between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. But it's a much softer rock than what it was a few years ago.
It is, it's not exactly, when we were broke, we cut them down to almost nothing, about $40,000. And as we got in better shape, we've been trying to help them. What's gonna be sad is if the state and federal governments continue to cut them and we're not able to support them, we're giving them $238,000 a year right now. It's hard for us to go much higher than that. And if the states and feds keep cutting, then it's gonna get to the point where Amanda has to decide what services she's gonna cut back. And I hate that because our senior citizens are very deserving and need this as bad as anybody and any other service in the county.
And that may be the government's goal, is keep squeezing down what they give them in order for us to pick it up.
Ever seen the movie Solid Green?
So, what Kelly just pointed to is that she's got some more work to do to finish this up. There is a possibility that we may need to meet one more time before our regular Tuesday meeting, which would probably be Thursday or Friday. Can Kelly and I have the leeway to put y'all on notice that we may call another meeting? And if need be, we definitely won't if we don't have to. I really don't want to, but if we have to, we have to. Would y'all be available if we Thursday and Friday or Friday?
Is it not something that you and Kelly can do, and you gotta present this to the full court anyway?
Unless it's something major, that's what we'll do.
I agree.
And I'll try to keep y'all informed, but unless it's something major, and then if we do make minor deals, then we'll present it at the full court meeting.
Works for me.
Okay, does that work for you? Kelly, what have I missed?
I think that's good with me, and that's all I can think of right now.
Now, with all that said, guys, we're not in terrible bad shape. I've been here at this table, at this seat, when we were in terrible bad shape. We're not. Peggy, you got a fund balance, late one?
It's 1.8.
And we have a 1.8 million in reserves. We have 3.3 million, 1.8 million in county general checking, 3.3 million in reserves, $5 million. We have additional tax collections and settlements to be done before the end of the year. And I'm hoping that county general will end up in the $5 to $6 million range before it's all over. Is that unrealistic, Peggy?
In the checking account?
No, no, county general altogether, but with our CDs
Yeah.
and with our checking account, we should end up somewhere between 5 and 6 million. And,
In our checking account?
and if we go back 8, 9 years, truly, we didn't know if we were gonna make the
I thought I'd say
January.
this looks a whole lot better. There's 3 of us over here that have seen it a whole lot worse than what it is right
Yeah,
now. Desperate times.
8, 9 years ago, we didn't know if we could make the January 15th payroll. So.
Oh, yeah, you were here, weren't you?
We're on the right
I'm
track,
sorry.
guys, we really are. Elected officials, y'all have anything to bring to the commission at all? Any comments about your budgets for 2020? Support, anything? Cindy? Steve, behind the camera over there, you got anything that we need to be aware of?
Quorum Court next Tuesday, that's not it.
Quorum Court next Tuesday, December the 17th, at the Burdette Courthouse. And you know what, I was at a party Saturday night. There are 11 circuit judges in the Second Judicial District. There are 11 judges that rotate through Mississippi County. And Judge John Fogelman is retiring at the end of this year. And so there was a retirement party for him held at one of the other judges' private homes Saturday night, and I was invited. There were 9 circuit judges that were there, 9 out of the 11. And we, Mississippi County, were discussed. And they were truly bragging on the county in that what Burdette had done and how it looked. And there were some chuckles. You know, they wondered if they were gonna have to bring their own chairs and tables at one point in time. But they said they got in there and it had a true courtroom feel. That they were truly surprised and pleased. And
Oh, good.
that was from 9 out of the 11 judges, and the only reason it didn't come from the other 2, they simply weren't able to come. So I think that's a good thing. So, and I'll quit bragging on it. Nothing else? See y'all Tuesday night, if not before. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.